Hello again and welcome back to yet another Dabstroyero versus video. This is the series where I lay the smack down on some truly terrible old movies. This time, I'm sitting way too close to the screen and taking on an ancient black and white documentary about the boob tube called Television. Will I pull the plug on this forgettable flick, or will TV get the best of me? Find out now on Dabstroyero versus Television. Television from the makers of radio. Oh, high fidelity. I loved John Cusack in that. What is this?
After
A
10
TV
years
for
of
ants?
Television, first shown to the public at the World's Fair, now takes its place as a new American art and industry.
Hey, you can't show that on
The inauguration
TV.
of regular television broadcast from NBC, one of the RCA services, set owners in metropolitan New York enjoy the novel experience of receiving pictures through the air. But an examination of the set contributes little to an understanding of the subject.
Ya dum-dums?
Except for the screen and slanted mirror that reflects the image to the audience, it is much like a radio in appearance.
Oh, I can feel the radiation melting my retinas.
But in the RCA Victor laboratories, where television equipment has been developed, we get a better view of the tubes that have added two new words to our vocabulary.
Poop fart.
The iconoscope for the camera and the kinescope for the receiver. The iconoscope is mounted behind the lens in this crude laboratory.
This guy
camera.
can really
The
screw.
lens focuses the image of the experimental chart upon a metal plate in the tubes, and the iconoscope turns the image into electricity.
Well, I'm just absolutely captivated. Look at the size of
In
that
the nearby
acorn.
laboratory receiver, the kinescope tube is inserted. This tube receives the electrical
Yeah, this guy's an
impulses
expert
created
at handling
in the
this tube by
iconoscope
now.
tube and recreates the image. As the tube is turned on, we see the pattern of the scanning beam of electrons that
Oh, the
moves
color
back and
gray.
forth
I
across
love this
space
episode.
over 13,000 times a second and carries the electrical impulses that create the picture. In the laboratory, the iconoscope and kinescope are connected by wire.
We've done
But
it!
in actual
We've
broadcast,
invented
the NBC
boredom!
television transmitter atop the Empire State Building
actually tried to get
sends the
King Kong for
program
this
out from
scene, but he doesn't do
antenna
TV.
by imposing it on a very short radio wave, which acts as a carrier for both the picture and sound. These short radio waves travel only in a straight line and cannot follow the Earth's surface. Therefore, the limit of television is the distance from the antenna to the horizon.
Yes,
From the
you can
Empire
see for
State
miles
Building,
around
a
atop
program
Dong
can be sent
Tower.
only as far as the eye can see on a perfectly clear day. In New York, programs are sent to the transmitter over a special
If you squint
cable from the
real
television
hard,
studios
you
in
can see
Radio
Donald
City,
Trump's racist father
3/4 of a
down
mile away, or are sent by radio to the transmitter by the mobile units, which cover sporting events.
Well, I'll
outdoor
say this.
celebrations,
Rush
and
hour's been a
spot
lot
news of
easier
all
since the
kinds.
Spanish flu.
A mobile television unit consists of two large struts. One of these is a rolling control room and amplifier, and the other is a small radio transmitter.
every
which sends
TV
the
episode
program
is
over the air
hand-delivered
to
via
the main
Greyhound
transmitter in
bus.
the Empire State Building. Typical of programs covered by the mobile television units is a horse race, and this unit pulls into the racetrack early in the
Manhattan
morning to
Drift!
start the elaborate preparations of setting up to cover the race.
Alright, boys, let's get set up to fake this here moon landing.
In the rear of one truck are reels of the special
Hey,
coaxial
Marty,
cable
quit playing with your hose
carrying
over
the
there.
picture from the camera to the trucks. While this is dragged out, engineers
Oh, he's
raise
really
the
working that
antenna
rod.
on top of the truck from which the program will be broadcast.
And what they lack in
Cameramen
assembly
set up the
skills, they
portable
make up for in
iconoscope
fancy
camera
hats.
atop the grandstand.
Oh, busted. He was
Inside
watching
the truck,
Scrambled
equipment
Cinemax
is
in there.
tested, and the coaxial cable is raised to the roof of the stand
Hi,
to
Mom.
connect camera and trucks. With connection made, the camera is turned on for a test, and engineers stand by as race time approaches. Then on top of the stand, announcer Clem
The
McCarthy
start of the
takes
race
his place
highly
beside the television
anticipated by
camera,
both of
and the
horse racing's
program goes
fans.
on the air.
Yes,
Jason
nothing
on the
quite
extreme
says
outside,
American
keeps
family,
stepping
quite
out of
like
his stall.
sitting
The lane
silently
start
in the
as
dark
the
a
12
foot away from
thoroughbreds
a
line up at
TV
the gate.
screen.
Now they're all in there and behaving nicely. Look out, they're off. Interpreter number 2 breaks in front, and as the field races past the stands.
Ah,
it's
come on,
Interpreter
I've got
on
money
top,
riding
with
on
some
100-year-old
backs in
blue.
second
Let's
place.
go,
The field is
100-year-old
closely bunched
blue.
as they rush to the first turn, but they've a long way to go. It's
Hey,
still
guys,
anybody's
look,
race.
it looks like
Down the back
Unwiener
stretch,
in front of
Rifftrax
my
is coming
mouth.
back, and as they turn into the home stretch, Albert D leads by 2 lengths, with Mundu at second, ahead of a closely bunched field. Down the stretch, Albert D turns on more
Very
speed.
casual,
Increases his lead.
Chalmers.
He's too fast for Munduit, and Albert D by 4 lengths is the winner.
And no one cares.
As in radio, many television programs will come from the specially equipped studios such as this one in Radio City.
Wheel me around
Here,
like a
under the
big
bright
boy.
lights required for indoor broadcasts, preparations are underway to televise an orchestral program.
Boring.
The special lights of the television studios are placed under the direction of the cameraman. Most of these lights are suspended from the
That's
ceiling
not look up to
and
OSHA
controlled
code
by
at
drawers,
all.
by means of which they can be raised, lowered, or turned by a technician on the floor below.
A young Stanley Kubrick
In the
looks on
control
in
booth above
disgust.
the studio, the program director and engineers prepare for their part in the broadcast. Here the picture and sound are amplified for their trip to the transmitter, and the quality is checked on a viewing screen. Cameramen and engineers
Now
wear
this is
earphones
pod
through which
racing.
they receive instructions throughout the broadcast from the director. As the first step in the program, the title camera is trained on the printed titles, and these are sent out over the air.
Ah, yes. Selections from Da Flundermaus.
Then at a
No
signal
relation
from
to the
director,
denim guy.
the television broadcast gets underway.
A 1 and a 2 and a... Yes, through the magic of TV, we can now listen to music. So long, useless radio.
Each of the
Ooh,
cameras
they got
used
that
in this
camera aimed at the
broadcast
composer's
is making
juicy
a
butt.
different angle of the same scene. This long shot camera is permanently placed to get a view of the entire orchestra. A second camera on a wheeled truck is used to make close-ups of the orchestra and its
Oh
individual
God, he's
members.
fondling the
And this is
camera.
rolled around the studio during the broadcast. On the screen in the
Jeez, I'm in the
control room,
nosebleed
we
section.
see a
Can't even
scene
see the
made by
piccolo.
close-up camera. After this has run for a few seconds, the control engineer
Boop.
switches over to the other camera, and the scene changes to a long shot of the entire orchestra.
Boo! Play Garfunkel and Oates.
The director manipulates the cameras to keep the scene changing and to avoid monotony, instructing the cameramen and engineers by telephone as the program progresses.
So should we just keep pretending to type?
All right, switch to 1.
I don't know about you, dear, but I think the eye strain is worth it. Yes, you too can be a pale white guy with a pencil
Now roll
mustache
into a
just by
close-up
watching
of the
TV
string
12
section.
hours a day. Oh yeah, baby, let's see those strings.
Now pan across the orchestra from the brass to the strings.
To the brass, to the strings, make all those instruments sing. Yeah!
Now back to your original position and pan over to include the conductor.
Retreat! Retreat! No one will find me here.
And so a new American industry has been born. Television is taking its place as another important and vital contribution.
Wow, it's the
to
first
our
time they
daily
ever
lives.
showed a pianist on
It is a
TV.
modern miracle. A new public service produced by
Well, this sure
combining
beats having to
RCA
talk with any
laboratory
of you.
science with manufacturing skill.
They have a
Research
lamp
problem
right
of
there.
yesterday
Just
is
turn
the
it
radio
on.
marvel of today. Another milestone of progress has been passed, and science has made a reality of the age-old dream of pictures from the sky.
And just like that, TV taps out, I win again. Oh yeah, there it is. Television goes down for the count. Another failure of a fair use film, down in flames. Thanks for sticking around. Tune in next time and see which film I elbow drop back into obscurity next. Like, subscribe, follow, share. Be sure to support on Patreon. And until then, see you next time to all the little dabomaniacs out there. Boo! Play Garfunkel and Oates!